Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here, playing some more Pathfinder adventures. We're on the 5th adventure here, Sins of the Saviors. We just got some sweet rewards. It's now time to go to the second scenario here, which is Rimeskull. Now, this one is a little bit of an interesting one here. So the scenario works a little bit differently than usual. Basically, there's just a single location, the Sahedron Circle, and then all 7 locations surrounding it are stone head locations. So it's basically 7 copies of the exact same location every single time. You can't go to the Sahedron Circle, which is where the villain is, until all of these stone head locations have been closed. So basically, the way the scenario works is that you have to close 7 locations first before you can go take on the villain. It's because we're, climbing through the mountains and stuff. We're trying to find some peak and get some legendary artifact. You get the idea. Now, what's really important here then is not so much knowing what the villain does, although it's nice to know, but it's knowing how the locations work. So here we start the party of guaranteed damage. You make a ridiculously impossible acrobatics check, and then you take 1 damage if you succeed. Otherwise, you take 1d4 damage. So basically, succeeding at this crazy, ridiculously impossible check means you're guaranteed to get minimum damage from this dragon. And then, if Archist would escape, shuffle him into location deck where you encountered him instead, but that's irrelevant here because we can't even go fight him until we close all these stone heads. Then, what's interesting here is that the henchmen are actually barriers. This is really important because it means that augury is not as good as it is usually, since if you augury for a monster and find one of these henchmen, you end up, shuffling the henchmen back in. And if you augury for barrier, trying to find the henchmen, and you find monsters, you don't get to move those around. The check for these barrier henchmen is combat or disable. So it's kind of confusing because it's a henchman that you can defeat with combat, but it's actually type barrier, not type monster. Now, there's some interesting rules for these. So when you encounter one of these stone heads, you can bury a spell to defeat him automatically, which is pretty nice, of course, for the spellcasters. If you defeat him normally, then every single person at your location takes electricity damage, 0 to 3. So it's a little bit interesting with these stone heads, and of course having all these stone head locations. Very unusual scenario. Now let's take a quick look at the stone heads. So basically, at the location, when you defeat the henchmen, so it's the stone head barriers, let me actually point with my mouse so you can see what I'm talking about, you automatically close that location, and then everybody who's at your location moves to a different open stonehead location. So you don't need to make any checks to close these places, which is nice. There's a similar scenario in Adventure Deck 6 where you have to make a crazy survival check to close each location, and it gets harder and harder the more that you close. This one is kind of a softer version of that. You just need to get through the monsters and close these things. These things also have fewer cards than usual. There's only 7 cards in each of these decks, 1 of each type except for Ally and Blessing. So you can pick up spells and weapons and items and stuff in this scenario, just not any items or blessings, which means this is a pretty good scenario. If you can banish a blessing or an ally, then you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to get your pick from the deck. Granted, I don't know how you'd banish a card, it'd be pretty unlikely, but if you do have like any banishable allies, this is a good scenario to like save them in. Like, let's say you ended up with a banishable ally at the end of Adventure Deck 3, you'd want to banish that ally for its use in this scenario to be able to get your pick of any ally from Adventure Deck 3 or below. But anyway, it doesn't really matter where we put people. The only thing you really have to concern yourself with is, am I going to double people up or not? And the answer is you really shouldn't unless you're pretty sure you're going to be defeating those stone heads by burying spells. Otherwise, everybody's going to take a bunch of damage. In my last scenario, Sela did not actually start with a weapon in her opening hand, so I'm going to put a Miri in her location to pass a weapon off in case she's again unlucky. No, she got 2 weapons this time, so we're good. Gotta move over to my own Stonehead location. Get your own damn Stonehead location, Amiri, and get some progress happening. Okay, well, I probably should have Spyglassed first, but it's okay because we're going to get to do this. So the nice thing is about Amiri is that she actually gets to resist 1 of that damage. So if the d4 rolls a 1 or a 2, I take no damage, and the most damage I could take is just 2. Let's see, we'll reveal the longsword. I need to roll an 8 on these dice. I don't really want to spend my resources, so why don't we have Harsk shoot an arrow. The Sahedra Medallion is useful here, but the Samison is not. So we'll do it like this, and I can get a 6 on those 3 dice, I think, pretty easily. Okay, so now we take this damage. Hopefully 50-50 chance. I take no damage. Yeah, all right. Good times had by me, and the location auto-closes. Well, that's nice. So now, because of the rule, I have to move to another location. We'll move to this one. So that was a nice stroke of fortune there. And I could actually keep going with my turn. Why don't we do that? So we'll Spyglass here. Wow. That's two in a row where the henchman was right on top. Let me think about this. If I take maximum damage, I'll have to discard my weapon. And I could still heal up with Papa Xantus. So yeah, we're going to do this. Let's counter this guy. Quite remarkable there. 1 in 7 odds of having a henchman on top. So 1 in 49 odds that you find a henchman on top twice in a row. Pretty great. Let's have Harsk shoot one of these. I think one of these blessings is probably the best thing to shoot. Ooh, that was close. The D12 really saved me there. And again, 50-50 chance of taking no damage. And okay, this is perfect actually. This is where Amiri's power comes into play. Normally I would take some damage, but I resist it. And then the Staff of Heaven and Earth can just go fuck a donkey as far as I care. And we now move on. Now I have to be with someone else. Now when you have to be with someone else, you want to be with someone who's going to bury a spell to kill the thing so that you're not taking damage. Okay, start of turn actions here. We're going to scout. Great Club +3. Oh no! Oh, that's sad. That's sad. It's a good one. It's a good one. But unfortunately, well, alright. You know what we're gonna... I mean, I could wait until... I could have somebody augury this place and, like, you know, that would give the place a shuffle. That is a good... You know what? That's a good weapon. It's a really good weapon. I'm gonna have her go here because if Ezrin closes it on his turn, then, I think that's actually stupid to have them all gang up like that. Let's go here. She has agility, and she can just go ahead and bury agility to kill the Stonehead. Magic full plate. Don't care. Pick it up anyway. Well, it's good to keep because it's good to have something to block damage in this one. Since, it's kind of cool how it works. The more of these Stoneheads that you close, the more that everybody's forced to group up. And so then the more that it's likely to happen that when somebody closes a location, it causes other people to take damage. Abadar's Truth-Telling. This is... Examine the top card. If it's a non-villain, you can encounter it. I don't know. This just doesn't seem very good. Because why not just have Scrying? But I'll take a stab at it by flipping a card. And it made a difference. I picked it up. Because I can just use it right now. And I feel like it's worth it. Ranger Stash. Well, I think that's actually worth it. Because a lot of my weapons are pretty out of date. Like, I've got a longbow +1 and a crossbow +1 and stuff. So why not take a stab at that? We're going to need Mauricio to come on over here, which is fine. And I actually do... Well, I can scout, but it doesn't make a difference because it's a barrier and it wouldn't move. Okay, so Ezrin here. We got Augury. Here's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to first explore once, trying to find a henchman. Doesn't happen. And then after that, I'm going to Augury with a 50% chance of finding the henchman. And I am going to call barrier on this because I don't want them to get shuffled away. Alright, 50-50 odds come through. So there's the stone head. And I want to be the one to encounter this because I don't want Amiri to do it and then cause me to take damage. So what we will do here... Oh shoot, I forgot to do this. No! No! Oh, thank goodness. Oh, doesn't matter. Can't pick it up anyhow. So yeah, what we can do here now is I can pop this Pyromaniac Mage. And, yeah, go take this thing on. We're gonna bury a spell to make the check. I'm gonna bury Sagacity, which is of limited use here in this particular scenario, and that stops the damage. Now, Ezrin and Amiri need to go somewhere else. Oh, there's actually one that doesn't have any people in it yet. I missed that somehow. Whoops. Oh, right, because Sela went away because we wanted to shuffle that location. Oh, right, with Augury. I was supposed to use Augury to shuffle that place. Whoops, I totally forgot about that. Well, you know, we'll just leave that place for the end. Let's do that. We'll leave it for the end. The thing about this scenario is that once you find a henchman and defeat it, you don't have a choice. You have to close the location. Okay, we'll go with, I don't know, Harsk, I guess. And then Amiri needs to go somewhere too. I don't want to cockblock Mauricio, so we'll go put Amiri over here. Okay, so now Ezrin can keep going, but he doesn't have any explore cards, so what we're going to do here is discard the potion of hiding because it's total trash. And, you know what, I'm going to discard this quarterstaff. I'm never going to use that here. Let's just leave that be. Okay, perfect. Got an Amulet of Life to block some damage. Fan fiddly diddly. There's a Ranger Stash. The Ranger Stash is here with Sela. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out. Special Mission Mauriziel for a second. Okay, get a Black Arrow Ranger to help out. So I need a 5 on these 2 dice. That can definitely fail. Aristil, anybody got an Aristil? We do. So that's going to recharge. And we're good to go. So I'm being a bit greedy because this barrier auto-banishes, so I didn't have to, you know, bring her over here to do it, but it seemed like it was worth it because, you know, there's enough time, I think, in this scenario. Venomous Dart +2. This is the crappy thing that doesn't even give a +2 unless you actually recharge it. Yeah, that's pretty shitty. So we're going to go ahead and discard those. Frost Longbow +1 is actually fine. Ezrin will probably use this. Although it's better for Mauriziel because, well, it's better for Mauriziel because her strength dies higher, but this is one that a Harsk will be able to discard for bonus damage, and I think that that's actually useful. I guess I'm going to hang on to the armor. What I'm going to discard maybe is the Crown of Charisma because we don't need that here. Acidic Sling +3 is fine. Alright, we got a Mass Cure that we can use, or a Holy Light that we can use to defeat the thing, so we'll just go for it, I guess. Alright, perfect. So we'll do the Holy Light since it's kind of like combat. And get that taken care of. Now, this one is the one that has the Great Club on the bottom, so I don't particularly want to go there. Alright, we'll go here. And I guess everybody will just go over there. Because I want Mauriziel to be by herself. How am I going to dig that Great Club off the bottom, though? That's going to be tough. You know, I shouldn't have gotten rid of Holy Light because now I can't fight very well. If I find a monster. What? The hell? Oh my god, game. You've got to be kidding me. Come on, game. Don't do this to me now. Alright. It's bugged out and I can't explore for some weird reason, so we'll just let it go. I'm going to do a Spyglass because now that everybody's at the same place, if there is a barrier here, I don't particularly, if the henchman is here, I don't particularly want to deal with it. Ah, that's really good. Harsk isn't as good. He's D8 +3 instead of D12. No, so he's a D8 +4 instead of a D12 +6 on these disable checks. But maybe it's better to have him do this than to wait around for Mauriziel to show up. So yeah, we'll do that. And let's see if we can get any blessings. Maybe some blessings of barriers. No, I don't want to do agility here. The reason I don't want to use agility is that agility is something Sela can bury in order to defeat one of these heads. Ah, there we go. Blessing of Yabba Dabba Doo. So I need to roll an 8 on 3d8s. That's pretty safe. I mean, it can obviously fail, and it almost did. Land's sakes. But we get a card. We already got some weapons here. Got enough items. I'm going to grab a spell. Because in the short term, it's actually pretty useful. I'm not going to keep teleport. I've already discarded it several times. But the nice thing about it is that now if Harsk ever, you know, encounters one of those stone heads, he has something that he can bury in order to defeat it. Okay, I think we'll just pop this potion of healing. 3, 3, 3. Lots of people have 3. She has Xanthus. She can heal herself. Ezrin's discard pile is junk. 2 out of 3. So we're going to go ahead and heal Sela with a 25% chance of overheal. Luckily, it doesn't happen. Okay. So now, let's scout. Black Arrow Longbow. Oh, that's the unique card from deck 3 for beating Adventure deck 3 on Legendary. Of course, we've already passed through the adventure that has giants in it, so it's not super relevant. But still, this is a really good one because it is strength, die +2, and your range skill. Granted, you can't actually discard it to improve your roll. Maybe this one would go to Mauriziel then, because it's just D8 plus. So it's just dexterity plus strength, die +2. So yeah, it's not like super great because it can't be discarded for bonus damage, and it's just a D4 +1 to help other people out. But still, it's a +2 weapon, and it's worth picking up. So Mauriziel should definitely get over there and grab that thing. Okay, so that means I don't want to Miri exploring here right now. Where can she go? She can go over here where there's a great club buried at the bottom, and she can go here where she's cock blocking Mauriziel. No great options. I guess we're just going to go over here and let that Great Club +3 go down the tubes. I'm going to just... Nah, fine. We'll let it go. Potion of Energy Resistance. Not the greatest. I think I am just going to use Papazantis here. Makmurian's Club will heal... Oh, wait, no, I'm stupid. What am I doing? No, we should pop this Blessing first, then use Papazantis. All right, there's the stone head. Well, it's happening. So let's reveal this. Let's see. Do I want to discard a card here? Not really. Let's have Harsk shoot a Codex over. So a 6 on those 3 dice is pretty safe. Yeah. And I'm going to take some damage. The good thing about this, though, is that Amiri was the only one here, so nobody else has to take the damage. The bad news is I lost a Great Club +3, which is a damned shame. And now, I don't know where we're going. I guess we'll go back to this place, because that way I'm not cock-blocking Mauricio. But, shoot. This is the one that has the unique longbow on top. So now, Sela, Ezrin have to find something to do. Well, if Mauricio's coming over here, I guess it's fine, right? If Mauricio's coming over here, then that means that, No! Oh god, I'm an idiot. I can't believe I pushed that button. Shit. Oh, shittlesticks. I just put that longbow on the bottom for absolutely no reason. What I should have done is I should have, yeah, instead of doing that, I should have had Amiri move over to where Mauricio is, have Sela scout that place, and, yeah. So, you know what, the bow is pretty good, but it's not, like, that good. I'm just gonna let it go. Alright, we're gonna do the stone head here, bury agility, and take it out. Goodbye, longbow, I hardly knew ye. And we're all piling into this last stone head now. So this is not a difficult scenario. With only 7 cards per location, it's really quite easy to get these closed on time. If they had like a normal 10 cards, it would be much easier. Anybody really hurt? Not really. Not that much. All right, we'll just let it go then. I'm not going to do any healing. Let's go ahead and scout. Crushing Door. All right, well, that's something that Mauricio can handle. And I definitely do not want to fail the check and have everybody take a bunch of damage. So that means that Ezrin is just going to sit tight. That was the nice thing about that scouting, is that it prevents everybody from taking a bunch of damage. Because this thing, if you look at it, this thing is nuts. If undefeated, each character in this location has to take 1d4 plus 1 combat damage unless they can pass a really ridiculously hard check. So we absolutely have to make this. There is no option. I don't have any rechargeable blessings or anything that can really help. So we'll just play regular blessings on it. I need to roll a 6 on those dice. Not good enough. Make it 4 dice. Because I really just cannot afford to fail this. It's such a bad one. Alright, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and do a spyglass. Find traps and chainmail. Well, doesn't really matter, I think, who gets what. Find Traps is not a very good card, but it is good for Linny here because she can add 2 dice to anybody's check to defeat one of the henchmen, which is obviously pretty solid. If it's hers, she can just bury it to, you know, defeat it automatically. I feel like the henchman didn't need the bury a spell to auto-succeed thing, because it's an easy enough scenario without it if the checks were actually more difficult. But I like it there's like a different way that you can go about it depending on whether you did it normally or did it with a spell. Alright, so we're going to bury, I think, Find Traps. Since now we've taken care of all the traps. And now that all the stone head locations are closed, we move there. And it's weird that the game makes you tap to go here. It's odd that they didn't put like a little check of like, if they're all closed, then move everybody to the stone circle automatically. So now there's just one person left here. It is the villain. Might as well do a mass cure on, I guess, Mauricio. And there's really no point in Linny recharging a card to fight the villain. We can just go ahead and take out the villain by, I guess, using Amiri. I don't think there's any reason to really risk Harsk doing it either. I mean, Harsk probably could take on the villain, but I'm not sure what the point of that would be, since I know that Amiri is just the best villain killer we've got. So what Harsk is going to do is, well, let's take a look at the villain. Oh, yes! So everybody should keep some damage blocking. He's going to discard a bunch of stuff, because he's not going to be doing any fighting. Unfortunately, Harsk can't actually use his ranged power in this scenario because he's always at the same location. And then Amiri doesn't have a particularly great hand for villain fighting, but, well, let's see. If she actually takes 1d4 cold damage, she's going to lose her whole hand. So that's something to consider. Can she kill this thing one-handed? I think the answer is yes, she actually can. Oh no, she's only going to take 3 damage because she resists one of it. And two-handed, she gets two cards, she can definitely do it. It would have been better for her to have an armor, one of the armors in her deck to block the damage, but I just don't really see the point. I just don't see the point of sticking around and waiting. Let's just make this a nice quick video here so we can move on to the next one. So she's going to roll and fail. Now the question is, what does she roll for the d4 damage? Doop, 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 doop. Oh, the maximum. Well, luckily she resists one of it because it's cold. So bye-bye Troubadour. Bye-bye Masterwork Tools. And the only thing that really matters is having to lose one of these weapons. But other than that, it's fine. Alright, Sela has armor, so it's fine. She can just bury the armor to block the damage. She actually would have been fine as well for taking on Archist. As it is, Amiri can just do one of the checks, and we can have, like, Sela do the other. Alright, Ezran's fine. He's got an Amulet of Life here. And it's kind of nice to roll at the same location. That does mean that he can use the Flask of Force to help out. Granted, it's only one character. But maybe I could have Amiri take on both checks, just for shits and poops. Alright, I have armor with Marisial, so even though she could make this with some help, there's just no reason. She's got the armor, and she has this Hedron Medallion, there's just no point. Wow, we're doing a pretty good job rolling minimum damage on everybody, except, of course, for Amiri, so that was awesome. And Linny, well, can I theoretically make this? I theoretically can make this. If I roll very high, if I roll like a 6 and a 3. As it is, it's fine, we got this chainmail, and I think I might as well just banish the chainmail since I don't even want to deal with it. I'm not going to get to add any good armor to my deck because I obviously had that already. Alright, I don't know why I recharged that guy, actually, because, well, I made it, but I had the Hedron Medallion, I just didn't see it in my hand. So there's really no point in spending that thing. Okay, so that was the very laborious process of everybody doing that. Now, Amiri... Alright, we'll try to have Amiri do both. No, why am I doing this? No, this is stupid. So why don't we just, let's see, we'll discard the longsword, and then we'll do strength on Amiri here. I need a 9 now. So, yeah, we just need like a little nudge. So somebody who has 2 blessings is the perfect person to do the nudging. Oh, wow, that was really close. Goodness gracious. Okay, so for this, let's pass the check on to Sela. So she can use this Fanged Falchion and Legion Armor. And the Blessing of Gazra Egypt. And she can flip a card. And... oh no, I forgot about... you know what? Fuck it, I'm not going to do the Wand of Enervation. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to care about the whatever the hell. Who cares? It just doesn't matter enough for me to reroll these dice. We've clearly got this dragon in the bag. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe if you did. And I'll see you again soon for some more videos. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our rewards if you want to stick around for Papa Boris's bonus time here. We have a victory, and I forget what the reward is for this one. I don't know if it was anything good. Let's take a look. Is this another one of the loot ones? Oh, yeah. Okay, so everybody gets to choose a card type and get a card of that type. And I think this eliminates any basic or elites. Let's take a weapon for Amiri, because we passed on that Great Club +3 so tragically. And then we got this piece of shit. That's great. Sela will take a weapon as well, hoping for a Great Club +3, or at least that longsword, or that longbow that we passed up. Nope. Ezran will grab a spell. Man, I keep finding this damn Adventure Deck 5 Raised Dead spell. It's like the 3rd fucking time I've seen it. It's not very good, but there are some good spells here. I still haven't gotten the Poison Blast, which is pretty good. This Short Spear, I don't know, it has a pretty high minimum, but it's just so weak. I don't think I'm going to keep that. And then Lindy will take a spell. Come on, Poison Blast. Get me some of that. Ooh, Blizzard. Now, this is a really tricky one. So, basically, it adds 2d6 to everybody's combat checks for the turn. But at the end of the turn, everybody takes 1 cold damage, which is usually not something you can handle. Like, Amiri will resist this automatically. Seigen resists it automatically. I guess you can kind of, like, play around it, but most likely that's not going to be a card I can afford to keep. It's not better enough than the Incendiary Cloud and Toxic Cloud that I have to justify keeping. So like I said, the rewards for this adventure are actually pretty lame, and we saw a pretty perfect example of that here. We actually don't get any reward, which is, okay. It's fine. You know what? Agility? I'd honestly rather have an extra scouting card than an agility. I just haven't been using those spells very much. I feel like it probably behooves me to get rid of those +3 spells. I'm even willing to do that here for Ezran and get rid of like that strength, because I just never use those, and I feel like it's not good enough anymore. So these venomous darts seem pretty bad, and the acidic sling, I think that's fine, because, well, you're never going to use it. Well, you can use it normally for a pretty high minimum. It's got a +3 on it, but on top of that, adding an extra 3d4 is pretty solid. So the average damages are right there. 7.5 plus 3.5, it's like 11. +3, so it's like 14 all by itself. Definitely a keeper. Short Spear I don't think is better than any of Amiri or Sila's weapons, so we'll get rid of it. Frost Longbow I definitely want to give to Harsk so that he can discard it. And here, well, it'd be nice for her to have 1 card. Let's get rid of the Giant Bane Dagger since we don't have any more giants anymore, at least not part of the story. And if it's not, if you're fighting a monster that isn't a giant, this is just a dagger +1. That's all it is. So it's definitely the weakest link in my arsenal. Find Traps is not good anymore. Blizzard, I think, is going to... Okay, so what I could do with Blizzard, and this is a little bit, tricky. I could have Linny cast it, and then it would get banished because she doesn't have the Arcane skill, and then I could get a new spell from the deck. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything from deck 3 or below that I want as far as spells go. Maybe an upgrade for this Inflict. Maybe pick up like the other Holy Light. But it's not worth going through all the rigmarole of having everybody take a cold damage. If it was a spell that I could cast without any drawbacks, then sure. But since it's not, I won't. Now we have to... Oh, hang on. Teleport. Now this is an arcane spell that, yeah, I can actually cast it. So we're going to do this. We're going to play a little bit of shenanigans here. First of all, let me fix my stuff here. So we got to put in this Frost Longbow +1. I already have one. Well, it's better than a regular Longbow +1, so yep. Notice that the Frost Longbow does not have the cold trait, so even if you're fighting something with immunity to cold, it's fine because it won't add the cold. Then you just don't discard it because it won't add the cold trait unless you discard it. Okay, so let's take a look at View All here, make sure I'm not missing anything. We could do that trick actually, perhaps. I mean, this is a bit trickier, but Find Traps. It's a divine spell. I could have Ezran hang on to it and banish it. And then I could have Linny hang on to Teleport and banish it, and then get 2 extra spells. I just don't remember what the next scenario is. We'll do this just for funsies. Let's get rid of Strength and take Find Traps, and then Linny will get rid of Inflict and take Teleport so she can banish these cards. And so the two of them can hopefully banish those cards and pick up new spells. If the next scenario has lots of spells in it, then this would be a waste of time, because as long as you find any spells during the scenario, you don't get any value from it. I don't know why it's looking at Cabin in the Snow. We haven't beaten it yet. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, you can't... that's one thing I wish you could see that you can't yet. You cannot see what the locations are. So I don't know if there will be any spells here or not, but we'll find out next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.